Welcome back to Video Game News. As always, of course, this is Goku-san DBC, and yeah, I decided to wear one of my Beatles shirts today. One of my personal favorite bands of all time. With that said, this is game news for August the 10th, 2020. The year of doom and gloom. With that said, hopefully you enjoy the music in the background from Bowerstone in Fable. First up in some news, we have Microsoft rebranding Xbox Game Pass. They're now strictly calling it Game Pass only, not Xbox Game Pass. I'm not sure why they decided to brand it strictly Game Pass, but not really a different one way or the other, in my opinion. Still, news, I guess. Avengers, or rather Marvel's Avengers game, which of course is being done by Square Enix, announced that the character Spider-Man will be strictly playable in the PlayStation 4 version of the game. He will not be made available on Xbox or PC. So, and it's not surprising, given for the most part Spider-Man is a Sony property. I mean, like the Spider-Man games and stuff are exclusively Sony only. No surprise on that. And keep in mind, Sony owns the distribution rights and everything for Spider-Man TV shows and Spider-Man movies. The only thing they don't really control everything technically copyright-wise, true, video games, but they do have a decent amount of influence and power still over video games of Spider-Man in one shape or form. The only thing they don't really control is the comics themselves, of course. That's still Marvel, aka Disney. But still, just thought I'd mention, but yeah, I'm not too surprised that he is going to be exclusively on the PS4 version, or yeah, PS4 version. So it doesn't bother me since I have pretty much all the current gen consoles, so it doesn't affect me either way. Though I'm probably not going to be playing the game until price drops on it. Next we have Pac-Man, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary. One of the true greatest, of course, arcade classics of all time. Still hard to believe Pac-Man is 40 years old. Dang. Also we have Capcom is right now enjoying its this year enjoyed its strongest first quarter ever in history of the company Capcom amid the pandemic. Resident Evil franchise, Capcom announced in Forbes that Resident Evil franchise has now officially crossed 100 million units have sold. So yeah, as a franchise, it has now joined that elite list of video game franchises that have sold over 100 million games. That's impressive. Congratulations, Resident Evil. Because for the most part, the Resident Evil franchise has always been pretty good, except for a few misfires here and there, like cough cough Resident Evil 6 cough cough. Also, I mentioned some stuff like right now the Sonic movie is actually on sale on Amazon right now. You can get the Blu-ray, this is physical only obviously, you can get the Blu-ray copy of the Sonic movie for $16.94 on Blu-ray. Not bad. And it's $21.90 for 4K Blu-ray. So if you're interested in picking up a physical copy of the Sonic movie, you might want to take advantage right now on Amazon. Next, we have also the Xbox Series X will be compatible with Xbox One game controllers. That's definitely a positive. That way you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of new controllers. If you actually use more than one or two controllers at max anyways, I don't. Except I like to have a couple of backups. So that is a good thing for people. If you don't want to spend the extra money and you already have Xbox One controllers, definitely, that's a positive. That'll save you some money. Because who knows how much the new controllers will cost. Because controller prices are getting ridiculous, in my opinion. Also, we have announcement in 2021. The game channel G4 is coming back. I honestly was stunned when I heard this last week. That G4, of course, originally known as Tech TV, is coming back. I'm going to cross my fingers if G4 is coming back. Crossing my fingers that means we can see the revival of X-Play. Because Adam Sessler hasn't done all that much as of late. It'd be awesome to see the return of Adam Sessler. Also, we have Detective Pikachu director is right now working on a live-action adaptation streaming TV series, making an adaptation of the video game Beyond Good and Evil, and apparently it's going to be exclusively to Netflix. Netflix has been getting a lot of exclusive stuff, but I still am iffy whenever Netflix name is involved on a lot of stuff, especially live-action adaptations, after what they did to Death Note. I have a personal vendetta and grudge against Netflix for that. Also, we have Halo Infinite has announced its multiplayer mode is going to be free to play. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, Halo Infinite will be free to play, the multiplayer mode. That's a positive for you out there who happen to really like multiplayer games. I don't, but whatever. Also, we have BioWare. A higher up, current in charge at BioWare, has announced that they are currently about midway through a major update coming for Anthem. Apparently towards the end of this year. They're saying possibly the end of this year, holiday season or something, into maybe early next year. There'll be a major update. Who knows how many gigabytes of memory that update will also be. But, good for them. I mean, if they can turn things around in Anthem, like, of course, Bungie was able to turn things around for Destiny 2, then all the more power to BioWare, because I hate, to an extent, what BioWare has become over the years, because I once had a very high respect for BioWare as a company because of games like Jade Empire, Knights of the Old Republic, and, of course, Dragon Age Origins. Next, we have a big overhaul coming on loot drops and stuff also to Destiny. Anthem, not Destiny, Anthem. That's one of the big key components they're going to be working on with this major update, is working on the loot drops. So we'll see on that. Also, major changes coming to gameplay as well. Also, new Battletoads releasing the 20th of this month. So, only about another week and a half to go, and there's a new Battletoads game. Also, Stardew Valley has a special collector's edition coming out, apparently physical, to the Nintendo Switch. I already have base Stardew Valley, but I will probably end up picking up the collector's edition, because it's a really good, criminally underrated game. It's probably one of the best modern indie games, hands down. Also, you have Sekiro is getting a major update, like an expansion, coming the 29th of October. Also, Phantasy Star Online 2 is actually now coming to Steam. So for Steam users on PC, well, that's a game you can look forward to coming soon, though Xbox One already has it. Also, Ghost of Tsushima, they've announced within its first 3 days of release, Ghost of Tsushima, according to Sony, had sold 2.4 million copies. That's pretty good. In its first like weekend of release, selling 2.4 million. Good job, Ghost of Tsushima. Good job. And it's good, interesting to see all of a sudden, as of late, it seems like samurai era type games are becoming big again. And I actually think that's a positive. Between it, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, along with Neo 2, and so on, it's just nice to see samurai games making a major comeback. Also, we have Street Fighter 5 getting towards the end of this video, but Street Fighter 5, they announced a Season 5 now officially is coming out. It was, of course, announced in the Street Fighter 5 Summer Update stream they did the other day. The first of the new DLC characters is coming winter this year, and with the character included a new stage. What's cool and awesome about is the fact the first of the new characters of the Season Pass, we're finally getting Dan Hibiki. Finally! They even showed like a little bit of gameplay of Dan in the game. I'm definitely looking forward, and I'm honestly really happy to see Dan Hibiki finally coming back. Finally. We're actually getting Dan in Street Fighter V. That's good news. As a pretty big fan of Dan Hibiki character. Also, we got an announcement along with a new stage coming spring 2021. Rose is coming back. That's not too much of a surprise given her pupil, Menat, is already in the game. Makes sense. And I've always liked the character of Rose, so I'm definitely liking the looks of this update. Then in summer 2021, we have Aura, or however you want to pronounce his name from, of course, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That's cool. It's going to be interesting to see how he translates over with the current like 3D graphics, because this will be the first time he's ever been done in 3D. So we'll see. I personally never was the biggest fan of the character, but then next, the fourth of the 5 characters, the fifth character has not been announced yet who it will be. That character will be coming out in fall of 2021. But the next character will also be getting released summer of 2021 with a new stage included. And believe it or not, I am stunned this character is getting released. She is a friend of Sakura, of course. And believe it or not, we're actually getting Kazumi, or however you want to pronounce her name, a major character from Rival Schools and also in Project Justice. That's awesome. It's cool to see Capcom is actually going back to its roots of games. They're actually bringing a character, the third ever so far character from Rival Schools in. If you want to know the other games that have had a Rival Schools character, one was Capcom vs. SNK 2 had one of the characters. Also, they had another character from the games in, was it Tetsunoku vs. Capcom? Or Capcom, yeah, Tetsunoku vs. Capcom. That character was in. Now we're getting a third character from the Rival Schools game. And I will say, of all the character announcements, this is the one I was frankly almost in complete stun on. I was like, holy crap, Capcom did not forget Rival Schools? As a big lifelong Capcom fan, that was a pretty big deal to me. I mean, Rival Schools is a really awesome, underrated gem on the PS1. Just like Project Justice is an underrated gem on the Dreamcast. And I'm proud to say I own both games. But with that said, just a little bit of news from the State of Play. I didn't write down everything that was shown State of Play, but this is some of my opinions. Personally, I actually enjoyed the State of Play from Sony. I didn't give my hopes up. I didn't have them held high. A lot of people disliked the video and stuff, a pretty high dislike ratio, and that's because people are giving too much hopes into it, like a major gaming YouTuber, which was somewhat bashing, and he screwed up stuff also involving Star Wars, and he said You mentioned Darth Vader in Star Trek. That was a big screw up on your part, Dreamcast guy. But, with that said, I'm just not the biggest fan of Dreamcast guy. He's a very biased, but he tries to make himself out to be unbiased person. I'm upfront. I'm pretty biased on certain stuff, but I'm going to be upfront and honest with you about that. I'm not going to lie and say one thing and do another. That's just not my character. But we had some stuff in the State of Play. We had Hitman 3 VR shown off. So it's nice to see Sony is not forgetting about VR. It's nice to see some new stuff announced for it. Speaking as somebody who has VR. It's a really fun experience, but it's been a while since there's been really any major VR games to really catch my attention. And they announced also with this, you'll be able to play Hitman 1 and 2 as well in VR. So that's definitely interesting. We got a little bit of gameplay with it, how it'll work in VR. Also, we got like a big gameplay thing from a new indie game coming out called The Pathless. It looks interesting. I will say the graphics are very nice and smooth. I definitely like the art style. I'm not sure about overall of the gameplay mechanics, how that will be, but unfortunately it's a PS5 game, so I don't see myself getting a PS5 anytime soon after it launches. I'm honestly more interested in the Xbox Series X than the PS4, but even then I'll wait at least 1 or 2 years for the price to drop a little and bugs to be worked. But still, it looks interesting. The boss battle gameplay they showed, the Pathless does intrigue me a little bit. I'm curious to see more on it, because I like these unique art style type games. Also, we got a more in-depth look at Crash 4. Got a really good, decent amount of depth on the gameplay mechanics, and a lot of new features that are going to be involved when you do like New Game Plus, like new stuff that will be added you can do in New Game Plus. And it has a lot of other features they added for completionists out there. And that's good, as well as stuff for speedrunners. So it is nice. They took a lot of stuff into account, and you can tell genuinely the people involved in this new Crash game really do have a passion and love for the series. That's pretty obvious. And I'm glad, because I was really worried, given, you know, even though it's being done by one studio, still the studio is owned by Activision, so I was very worried. But from what I've seen so far, I actually have pretty high hopes for the new Crash game, which comes out in October. I will be curious to play the game myself, get a hands-on feel of it, and see how it will be versus other previous games. But I definitely have good hopes after all of this in-depth gameplay and look at things. Also, Control is getting a big new expansion of DLC. It's going to be connecting it to a previous game by the same game studio, Alan Wake. So they're going to be, with this thing, connecting, it looks like, Alan Wake with Control. That's cool, because I like the games from this studio. I also really like, Quantum Break, which is an interesting game. Also, we got some stuff at Spelunky 2. I have mixed feelings on it. I'm not too interested, though I like indie games most of the time. This game just doesn't really appeal to me too much. Bugsnax, we got another look at it. I don't really care about the game one way or the other. It's just not my cup of tea. Then we see some like Aeon Must Die, though it came out around the same time that they showed a teaser for this game, which looks amazing. But then mentioned like basically the whole staff on the game apparently up and quit. And there's a lot of claims and stuff about certain business practices in the studio that is responsible for the production of this game. So we'll see if the game actually gets done or not, and whether or not these claims and allegations against the studio are true or not. Also, I believe it's stated Genshin or something like that, Impact, is going to be a somewhat open world-esque type game. A lot of people mention they think it looks a lot like Breath of the Wild. I see where they're coming from. Personally, I get it, but I feel still there is some uniqueness to it, and I like the animations and the gameplay looks really cool. It's actually made by a Chinese game studio, so that's also interesting. Then we have a really cool looking Star Wars VR game that's coming out, and this is definitely going to be a day one pickup for me personally. It's called Vader Immortal. You'll be able to choose between Jedi and Sith. You'll be able to do like things like Force lightning besides lightsabers and stuff in VR. That's one of the things I've always wanted to see for VR is a Star Wars game. It was originally released on Oculus first, now it's finally getting a PSVR release. And I can't wait to actually get my hands on and try it out myself. Also, we got a game called Auto Chess. It's a strategy type game. Looks interesting. We have Hood, Outlaws, and Legends. I'm kind of interested, but at the same time not really, because it's a PS5 game. At least Genshin, however, Impact, Zelda influence game, at least it's a PS4 game. Also, we have a Tim, I believe that's how to say it. It is going to be basically PlayStation's take on Pokemon, I guess you could say. It looks better than some Pokemon games, and it looks interesting, but it's PS5. And we got a big, in-depth gameplay video and stuff on Godfall. It's obvious this is going to be the big, launch title they're pushing really hard on for the PS5. That's definitely obvious from what I've seen so far on the game. It looks interesting. We'll see. Announcement update for Destiny 2. Also, Season of Arrivals. We'll see on that stuff, but as always, this is Goku SunDBZ, and this video ended up a little longer than I expected, and I apologize for that, but I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe out there. I'll see you again soon. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.